y'all know me, then y'all know that my nerves are shot. But I'm super excited. So as people come in, hey Robin, hey Daryl, Bishop Joyce, I see you. I'm on mute. Thank you so much for joining the Creative Parlor. My name is Michelle Farley. I'm MichelleFarleyWrites.com. I'm a lot of things to a lot of people. I am a writer, filmmaker, a creative entrepreneur, just pretty much a jack of all trades. And I wanted to create somewhat of like mini chats or a creative series for other creatives who have many talents, who can use those talents to create a profitable business. So a lot of people are asking me about what exactly is like the Parlor. So the Parlor comes from some of my graduate school studies. We talked about the Burkean Parlor. The Burkean Parlor is basically an unending conversation. Like you come into a conversation, it might be midway through, at the end, at the very beginning, but you feel like you belong and you have something to offer and contribute. So this is what I felt about the Creative Parlor. I wanted a group of creatives to come together to give advice, to give suggestions, and hopefully that people can leave inspired and feel led to pursue their own creative passion. So that's pretty much that. So today, my first guest, who I am super, super excited, he is a former colleague and someone I consider to be a dear friend. I almost called you by your full government. Dee Hayes of Your Stagers, an interior design company. So welcome, Dee. You're on mute. Are you? Oh, did I?
Did you?
Okay.
Oh, okay. Thanks for having me, Michelle. I appreciate you.
So, hold on. We are having some technical difficulties. I had to bring back. Listen, I'm a one-woman show over here, so I do apologize. The live ended. I'm not sure why. The Instagram, but Facebook, YouTube are still going. So awesome. I'll catch them up a little later. So, yeah. So I kind of know your story, but tell me about your creative background. Like, how did you get into, I know you as an artist, a painter, a fashion designer, a clothing store owner. I know you a lot of different things, but when did you know that, that this was your thing? Like, how did you know that was your thing?
Well, Michelle, I would have to say, very early on, I realized that art for me was my voice. I'm a little more reserved, but art for me is how I can really express myself and get out my feelings. So I've always kind of gravitated towards that. I've always been pulled in that direction. Throughout high school, I was in different art shows and things like that. And then just from there, decided to go to, eventually ended up, after many career paths, ended up in fashion design, going to school for that. And really found that was art, and just being creative was my calling.
Okay. So, we both know about the, different career changes, or not even career changes, but more so like jobs. So for those of you who don't know, we used to be former colleagues at a place that I will not mention. And I remember that we used to like encourage each other almost every single day. Like, this cannot be my life. What am I doing? And I remember one time I was on bathroom duty, y'all, and I'll tell that story for another time. But it was a little kid basically eating snacks in the bathroom. And I'm like, I know that you know that I know you eating snacks. And we were going through this conversation. And I was like, this cannot be what I'm supposed to do the rest of my life. Like arguing with a kid about eating Little Debbie snacks, which is so unsanitary to begin with, but just wrong, you know? But I knew that just wasn't where I wanted to be. And down, I used to just encourage each other in the computer lab on every break. Like,
Yes,
we got to find a way.
Many talked about our escape plans.
We have got to get out.
This was not life in our life. And I think it's, being creative, sometimes it's easily to get distracted or kind of fall into what the world kind of says this is the normal career path for one to take. Sometimes taking a more creative, not traditional career path can sometimes be looked down upon, but once you find your calling and you find what it is that you're motivated by, you're passionate about, and you love doing, that's ultimately what you should be doing in life, period. No matter whether it's you want to do something creative or something else, it doesn't matter. Just do what you love.
For sure. And the money will come. Like I have just from my own personal experiences of like, I had a degree in creative writing, but it has taken me into other different areas of creativity that I wanted to do. Right. So as far as like copywriting, or writing a script or, it's just so many other opportunities that are out there. Right. And because something that comes easy to us, that is a talent, a skill, something that we love, someone needs that for their business. And so, so I'm going to segue into your current business, Your Stagers. And can you talk a little bit more about interior design and then how you got into it? And then, what your business, your company, what all that entails.
Yeah. So, I've always loved like decorating. So anytime I've moved into a new place, like that was always my thing, make it look super nice and things like that. So I've always kind of like had an eye for it. But I decided really to start my own business, started Your Stagers. It really came during the pandemic. So during that time, I was furloughed from my job like many other people. People lost their jobs and things like that. But it really, for me, really gave me a time to focus and really get back into the entrepreneurship spirit that I had lost. You get caught up in working at 9 to 5 and things like that, and this life happens and you kind of lose sight of your vision. And so that really allowed me to refocus. So Your Stagers kind of came out of that. And I wanted to really, so Your Stagers is a virtual interior design as well as virtual staging business. I wanted to create a business that no matter where I may end up in the world, whether I live I'm from Ohio, currently live in Florida, I can always run this business. I want to be, as they call it, satellite. So it's a virtual based design company that I created. Like I said, we do the interior design. I do interior design work for both interior as well as exterior of homes and retail stores.
Awesome. And I like how you mentioned the art of the pivot, right? So the pandemic taught a lot of us, especially creatives, like, okay, if not now, when? If not me, who? Like, what do how can I make some money? And so I would say I was fortunate enough that a lot of people were starting businesses and a lot of people needed copywriters. And so it was a good time for me. And so, I want to keep reiterating that, like, something that you have as a skill can definitely be flipped as a business, right? If you think about it, in a certain way, if you look at it objectively in the same way. But I mean, that's easy to say, you got, rent's due, bills are paid. But
it's not easy, but it's definitely worth it. I mean, I'm a strong believer in that, anything worth having in life it's not going to come easy to you. It's going to take work. You got to work into it, and you got to believe in yourself. You got to know your self-worth, and I think it kind of starts there.
I'm listening. I'm one woman show, y'all. It's a one woman show, so I got this thing's going over here. I'm gonna have me a team. I'm believing it. I'm gonna have me a team one day. Okay. I don't know why this live keeps ending. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to edit this differently. Okay. Okay, so that is annoying. I gotta figure out why that keeps doing that. Technical difficulties, guys. Sorry. First show, it's gonna happen. So I do want to show some of your work. So if some of you follow me on YouTube, then you know that Dee did. I hope to say your government name again.
It's so good.
Okay.
I'm not running from nobody.
Okay. You know, some people be like, don't say my full. So this space that I'm in right now works as my office, also storage, because people be putting their stuff in my. Not my husband though. Actually, it's my son. He just brings stuff in here. But he helped me design this space. But I did want to show a clip of some of your work, some of your designs. So we're going to do that right now. And bear with me, guys. All right, that was quick. I was like, I thought
I try to keep it, 30 seconds.
I did say 30 seconds. So you did
say.
I did say 30 seconds. So talk about your process for designing someone's space, whether that is their home office or their whatever space that is, a living room, family room. Like, what's the process for that?
So pretty much what the process is, I usually set up a 30-minute consultation with the client just to really figure out what their actual needs are. And so once I find that out, whether they want to have their bedroom redesigned or what have you, or living room or whatever that space is, I really start to dive into really getting to understand like what their own personal style is, because to me, your space should be an extension of who you are. You want to feel comfortable in that space. You want to actually love and enjoy the space that you're in. So that's a part of the initial process of it. And then from there, I ask the client to send me a couple of pictures, let me know if there's anything, that maybe you want to keep in your space. Sometimes there's limitations, even for renters, maybe you can't paint. So there's options for that. So I kind of really want to tailor these services to you to fit what your needs are. So it usually starts from there. And then from the pictures, once I receive pictures, I usually ask for measurements as well. And then from there, and I've already kind of gauged what your style is, I then create a 3D rendering of what your space has the potential to look like. Because sometimes people, they have a lot of different ideas, but they don't know how to bring them all together. So that's where I come into play, really helping to streamline that process. And then even taking it a step further, actually sourcing those products for that space. So some of it is just creating like that actual visualization to say, at the end of this project, this is what your space is going to look at, because some people just don't have that vision. So that's a big part of my job, is providing them with that, and it's giving them also the tools they need to actually achieve that. Because again, it is a virtual design company, so that's typically more or less how it works. And I also do, as another extension of that, is also offering like help through like video chat and things like that to really hold their hand if need be through that process.
Okay, so you started off virtually. Do you think this is something that like later on you might expand, that you might want to do, like have like a flagship office? Or do you think like, it's 2021, that's not really necessary? People just want to have,
Well, I think with the pandemic, people's mindset of how to do things in general has really shifted. So I think in regards to more traditional interior designers have also shifted their mindsets and their way of thinking as well, is that, people there actually is a need for actual virtual services. Sure. So I think for me going forward though, I want to keep it more virtual based, but I mean, I actually like to get into actually a person's space and actually work within it. So I would offer that as well, but I want to keep it virtual just because I want to have the freedom just to be anywhere in the world and just do what I love. There's a sense of freedom that comes when you're being creative. And unfortunately, sometimes, when you're doing business or even when you're being creative and working for other people, you almost kind of have like chains wrapped around you to some degree. You're kind of tethered to things. But there's a sense of this freedom that comes with just being able to be anywhere and doing exactly what you love doing and what you were put on this earth to do.
I dig it, for sure. I know. So for people who are catching the live or who will catch the recording, what advice would you give them if they're thinking about going into interior design or home staging?
I would say do your research. Like know your market, know your competitors. So that way you can really you won't sell yourself short. Because it's very easy to do as a creative to sell yourself short. So I say definitely number one is do your research. Make sure you have all those things in order so you can really know the niche that you're actually going into, for starters. And I also say just perseverance, like never give up. I don't know how many times I've heard no, whether it's been as a fashion designer, whether it's been as an interior designer, just in general, you'll hear no's, but just keep on just pushing through. You have to just keep at it. So I think that's another big thing is to grow a thick skin and know one no does not mean that's every time you try to sell your business or present it to someone that it's always going to be a no. You're going to get that yes. You're going to get that right opportunity that's meant exactly for you.
For sure. And I mean, we've all experienced those no's and the no, not right. For me, it's like a no is like no, not right now, or not right now. And being totally transparent, like when you hear so many no's, you're like, dang, do I suck at this? Is this not what I'm supposed to be doing? But then that doubt will creep up and you're like, okay. And then it'll be that one project where the person's like, this is amazing. And it recommends you to like all of their network. Right. And so, you just got to keep at it. And, I said a couple of times in some of my YouTube videos, it's like, not everyone is going to like what you do. And that's fine. Right. We all have an opinion about but don't let that deter you from what you're skilled at.
Right.
And another thing that kind of, puts a damper on dreams of creatives is the cost of starting a business. And you and I both know that, it's like what you see, these myopic ideas and what you have, you're like, So bare minimum, if someone was to start a business, interior design business, and they were going to do it virtually, like yourself, like what are how much funding do you think they would need?
I mean, honestly, the good thing about being virtual, not only is it the fact that you can work anywhere in the world that you want to be, is that it doesn't really take a lot for that startup cost. I would say for me personally, and starting my own business, I mean, this also includes whether you decide to do an LLC, sole proprietorship, also looking at, website hosting, or if you want to get a website design. But for me, it was roughly maybe around $500 total cost to start my business, which is not a lot of money. And as far as overhead monthly costs, for me, is roughly about $100 to $200. This includes the software that I use. This includes the web hosting that I pay monthly for as well. And that's roughly it. So it's not a really, and I've also, as far as also in addition to my background of businesses, I once upon a time, many years ago, owned my own clothing boutique. And what really killed me when I had that business was the overhead costs. The overhead costs really ate into my earnings. So like I said, with a virtual business, you don't really have a lot to worry about. It's probably one of the safest businesses that you can get into. Worst case scenario, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. You don't have to worry about shutting down an actual brick and mortar store. Employees, you don't have to worry about that. Well, you might want some employees. You still may need a few employees once you start to grow and what have you. But I think it's much more manageable when you do have a virtual based business. For sure.
I'm virtual and I love it. Like sometimes if they're in the same city, we might meet up, but it's still, besides like, time zone differences, but you definitely cut down on the cost, and having a home office, which is also great for taxes. So it's a win-win for all. So Don, this has been so insightful. So I wanted to keep these as chat so people can get information, they can get inspired. If you have any questions for Don, you can follow him on your stagers on Instagram. And then you have a whole bunch of other ones, but they can follow you on your stagers and then follow the other ones.
Right.
I was like,
find the other ones. Yeah.
Yeah, so this has been so great. Thank you all for joining the live. I'm getting text messages about it dropping on IG and coming back on, so I'm going to fix that for next episode. But thank you guys for tuning in. Next week, I'm speaking with Keisha Foster. She is a poet, a lecturer, an activist, just an overall amazing human being. And so we'll be chatting about poetry and turning how she's turned that into a successful business. So until next time we speak, I wish you all peace, joys, blessings, love. Thank you again so much. It wasn't that bad. I was a little nervous, but it was not that bad.
No, you did good.
Well, you know. But thank you. I appreciate it. So next time we speak, I wish you peace, joy, blessings, love, and we'll talk real soon. Bye.